And good. Okay. Hello, everybody. This is the Q3 2022 cohort of Collab Lab. Welcome to you all. This is, we only have 2 teams running this time, so it's going to be a nice, small, intimate cohort where I feel like we'll really get to know everybody well, which is great. And in this 2-team cohort, we have Team 45 and Team 46. So today we are gathered here to learn more about what is going to be happening over the next quarter, what Collab Lab will look like, what it will involve. Lindsay and I will be presenting a bit, but before we jump into that, we'll do a quick round of introductions so that we can all get to know each other a little bit better. And we'll save some room at the end for questions if you have questions, but also if you have questions, feel free to put them in the chat. There's plenty of people on this call who have done Collab Lab stuff before and can answer the questions. And Lindsay and I are likely to just spout out the answers if we stick them in there. So please ask all the questions. We'll save time at the end. Before we jump into things, I want to mention our code of conduct. When you confirmed participation in Collab Lab, checked a little box that said you read it. If you don't remember it, I will send you a link so you can review it. But at Collab Lab, we really live by our code of conduct as a way to make sure we are creating and maintaining a really psychologically safe space for everybody involved, our collabbies, our mentors, our tech talk speakers, people visiting, whoever it might be. We want this to be a wonderful place where we can all learn and grow together. That being said, each of your teams, 45 and 46, will have their own professionally trained code of conduct responder that will be there to just make sure everything is going smoothly, and they're there for you if you have any comments, questions, concerns, or just need some support from them. So they'll be there for you. They will introduce themselves in your channel as soon as that all has been organized, which will be before you start for sure, which is happening this weekend. Okay, with that, welcome. It's so lovely to see you all. Let's do a quick round of intros. Just call somebody's name to pass it to the next person. If you don't remember, just be like, I don't know who hasn't gone, and we'll figure it out. Also, there might be some people who don't want to present because they're like Nick at a swim meet or something. So that's okay too. I will start. I'm Stacey Taylor. Hi. Pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm the co-founder of Collab Lab. I'm not directly mentoring any teams this time, but I'm absolutely here for you if you need anything from me. I spend most of my time in Sacramento, California. That's it. Let's do name, pronouns, team you're on, where you're located. I think that seems good, right? I will pass it over to my pal, Lindsay.
Hi, I'm Lindsay. My pronouns are she, her. I currently live in Ontario, California, but I'm moving to Sacramento this weekend, so that'll be interesting. Yeah. Is that everything?
I love that. I love that for us.
I know. More cow gals. So I'll pass it over to Shelley.
Then I can say I'm so jealous. Now I have to move to Sacramento. No, it's too hot, but I'll move to like Vallejo. How's that sound?
Very
That's
hot,
close
very
enough.
hot.
Hi, I'm Shelley Mccartney. My pronouns are she, her. I live in Atlanta, Georgia, but I'm from San Francisco. So I'm jealous of my California people. Let's see. I was a Collabby 2 cohorts ago, but now I work on the Career Lab, which you'll hear about tonight. It's 2 weeks at the end of Collab Lab. And so once you know what it is, then you'll know what I do. I'm going to pass it to Michelle.
Hi, I'm Michelle. I use she, her pronouns, and I live in Portland. I am part of the 45 cohort. I'm going to pass it to Zenzi.
Hi, everybody. I am Zenzi. Pronouns are she, her. I live in Delaware now, but I am originally from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I am one of the mentors in TCL 45 and formerly a collabby from TCL 23, I think. So, always good to be back. This is my second time mentoring. So I will pass it to Trevor.
Hello, I'm Trevor, part of 45. I'm in Beaverton currently, originally from Arizona, and let's see, pronoun, oh, he, him's fine.
Welcome. Who'd you like to go next? Or I can call on somebody if you don't care.
Let's see, who's to my right? Nope, Chels.
Hi, I'm Chels. I made notes for myself so I wouldn't forget. I go she, her. I'm mentoring. This is my first year for group 46. Yeah. And I'm located in Michigan, so true Michigan form. I spend most of my time here on the beach. So well, let's see. Mira, would you like to go next?
My name is Mira. I go by she, her, hers. I'm in San Diego, California right now, and I'm part of 45. Yeah. Helen.
Hi, I'm Helen, pronouns she, her. I'm part of team 46, and I'm working out of New York. I'll pass it over to Nadia.
Hi everyone, I'm excited to be here. My pronouns are she, her, so Nadia, and so the location. I live in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. I will pass it on to, hey, who's next? Andrew.
Hey everyone, I'm Andrew. He, him works for me. I'm in Baltimore, but honestly, I really would like to move to the West Coast soon and hang out with everybody. I'm on group 46. I'm going to pass it to Yuffie.
Hello, my name is Yuffie, she, her, hers. I live in Minneapolis, Minnesota, so Midwest. I'm a part of team 46, and I will pass it to Xingray. Is that how you pronounce it?
Wow, that is actually how you pronounce it in Chinese. But how you pronounce it, like phoneticized, is Sinri. But yeah, I go by she, her. I think I'm in group 46 and I live in Seattle, but I'm from LA. Yeah. And I think that's everyone. I hope I didn't miss any, well, other than EJ.
I'm here to hang out. I'm not participating necessarily in this cohort, but hi, I'm EJ. My pronouns are they, them. I am a mentor sometimes, but I'm just here to kind of see faces and be around. I'm not front mentoring anyone, like I said, but if anyone needs any help, I'll be in the cohort channel. You can tag me about stuff. Mentors can always tag me and answer questions if you have any. I'm here just in a small capacity this time. Good luck, everyone.
Love it. Nick, do you want to go?
Yeah, I'll just go real quick. Sorry, my daughter just got first place in her swim. So I didn't want to talk before because there was a lot of screaming. Yeah, my name's Nick Taylor. Pronouns are he, him. I'm one of the mentors in TCL 45. Super stoked to be doing this. I currently work at Netlify with EJ, different teams, but super excited to be here.
All right, excellent. Let me pull up my other notes so I can see what is next on the agenda. Cool. Okay, so that is intros, code of conduct. Let's jump into the orientation. Lindsay and I will run through it. And again, if you have any questions, just drop them in the chat. There's all sorts of folks here who can answer it. So Collab Lab, what is Collab Lab? You're all here. Thank you for being here. You're amazing. Collab Lab is here to help early career engineers get experience working on an actual team of developers remotely on a real project. We found that this is kind of one of the last barriers into getting into tech after you learn how to code is you just don't have a lot of that collaborative experience that hiring managers are looking for to bring you into their team. So this is serving that purpose to get you collaborating on an actual project so that when you walk into those interviews, you have those experiences to talk about so that you can just really nail an interview. And okay, the goal of the project that you're going to be working on. So over the next quarter, you're going to be working on a project with your team, either 45 or 46. And you're going to be working to build a smart shopping list. And this list is supposed to learn your habits over time and put the items in the order that you should buy them in. Here in this orientation markdown file in each of your project repos, you can find a video demo of an app a previous team built. I highly, highly, highly recommend you watch it so that you know what you're working towards. One thing that we found in the past is people will sometimes work ahead or implement things that they think would be neat that ended up being work that they should have done in the future. So Lindsay will talk more about that, but watch this so you know where the app is going, what you're supposed to be building, so you can have a better idea when you're implementing things. You're also going to experience something unique at the Collab Lab this time because EJ and Lindsay and Zenzi and Aditya just worked to put together a brand new template with some new issues for you. So you'll be piloting a new template project that should have the same outcome as this one, but it's really exciting. So as you're going through it, if you notice anything that doesn't quite make sense to you, just be really loud about it. Collab Lab is fully built on feedback from our collabbies. So we have to know, tell us please, so that we can continue making it better for you and for collabbies in the future. So just be really loud about it. We love the feedback and we're excited to see how this new template goes. Okay, with that, who am I working with? All of you are joining a group of just really, really fantastic developers, early career developers, very seasoned, professional developers as your mentors, a very diverse group of people to learn and grow alongside. Each of your teams will have 4 developers and about 3 mentors. Why do we do what we do? Again, knowing to code is such a tiny fraction of what you're going to do as an engineer or a developer out in the field. So much more of it is collaboration and communication and organization and just teamwork. So that's what we're here to do. We're here to collaborate. So throughout your Collab Lab experience, a good majority of the time you spend with your team will be spent pair programming. So this is where you're going to pair up. There's 4 of you. You're going to split into 2 pairs of 2 each week to tackle an issue, and you're going to pair program through that. And pair programming is just a really great opportunity to learn from each other and see other people's perspective and help each other learn and grow and really talk through the work that you're doing. So a lot of people will learn how to code by themselves at home or maybe even in a boot camp and don't have a lot of practice saying these things out loud. So by pair programming and have to explain these things out loud, you're really preparing yourself well for not only interviews as you go to try to land your first role as an engineer, but also just for your future in tech. So learning how to say these things can be really important. Pair programming is great. Use that time wisely to practice and get comfortable doing these things. Okay, there's no one right way to pair program. There are many ways that you can do it. Try some different things out. See what works for you and the different partners that you pair program with. A few weeks in, we'll be doing a learning module on pair programming. But in the meantime, try some things out. See how you best collaborate together. Okay. With that, I'll pass it on to Lindsay to talk about how all of this works.
Awesome. And so, yeah, how does the project work? How are we going to take it from this template to an actually built app that's deployed, that you can show to future employers, that you can show to your friends and family about what you've built with a team. So in GitHub, we have user stories that follows agile methodology. So a lot of these things, user stories, acceptance criteria, merging and pull requests are going to follow that agile method. And so we're going to get into some of that terminology that you can also express in your interviews and as you're getting into your first roles in software engineering. There will be defined acceptance criteria, what that issue should produce in the app, what functionality it should have, if there's any UI changes, any accessibility features it should have. You'll find those defined in the story. And you can always ask your mentor or your pair partners to kind of flesh out even more details that you want. You can look ahead just to make sure that what you're building now will also integrate ahead, but the issues have been designed and scoped to go together. So we'll follow the issues each week. You'll be assigned at weekly sync your issue with your pair partner, which you can find on our project board. A story is done when you met the AC. when any accessibility features that need to be implemented are complete, when the code can be deployed, it's been reviewed and approved by your other team of developers, and one mentor has approved your pull request. And so each week you'll split with your pair. At the end of 8 weeks, all of the issues will be built and you'll have your final app that's deployed. Deployments are automatic as well. You are responsible for merging your pull request once it has been approved, which you'll find a lot. I'm finding a lot in my second job as a software engineer that ownership of your issues, ownership of the code that you build is really important. So you'll see a lot of that here. Coordination and communication. So there's a lot of ways that you can coordinate and communicate to build out these issues each week and with your peer partner. So I think a really good thing is just to try new things. If something's not working, don't be afraid to switch it up and try something else. Communication is also key to be able to figure out those tension points, those friction points, and to move past them and find a better way of doing things. So one of the first things that you can do each week is to create a draft PR for your work to go with your branch so that you can share notes about your functionality, about your implementation. This also shares information with your team. So when your team is also reading back how you implemented the code, you can save your documentation here. And so it just kind of builds upon each other to make really complete communication as you're building out this functionality. We'll use Slack a lot. Most of our communication team will happen through our Slack channels. So we really like threads so that you can keep conversations together, all the information together based on what that thread contains. So each week we'll open up threads for the two teams to talk together to pair program. So you and your pair partner will have a thread. You can schedule when you'll meet in that thread. You can talk about implementations, ideas, share resources to, like, if you found something on Stack Overflow that you want to try, you can share that in the thread. You can also ping the other team members to loop them into your conversation, or ping mentors. If you have a question about something or something's not working, there is a chance, like if you ping mentors, in the last cohort I mentored, a lot of us were able to hop on during that pair session and kind of help debug. If you've hit a wall and you haven't made any progress in 15, 20 minutes, your researching is heading a dead end, don't be afraid to, like, team mentors from the other developers. And there's likely that you'll get a very quick response to be able to help and get some more eyes on what you're doing. So don't sit stuck, just be proactive and communicate. That's my biggest recommendation to everyone, because you can help. We really like notifications. I personally love notifications a lot more than just the kind of generic Slack white bubble thing. The red dot is really great to direct your attention. If I need to see something, I love notifications. We all have notifications. We have the group TCL9 developers and group TCL9 mentors as shortcuts if you want to tag a specific group or a specific person. That's great. If you need a mentor to review your PR request, tag the mentors just to let them know that it's up and it needs to be reviewed. GIFs and emojis are great for communication. They can allow you to express yourself, to be less dry, and it makes it also easier to read on the other end. To add some emojis in there. We have a lot of emojis in the Slack channel, so don't be afraid to use them. I set a goal out to use every emoji in the Slack channel, so you could do something like that as well. It's really helped me, like, kind of throw some emojis in and spice up my messages to make them more fun and casual and just easier to receive on the other end. Development process, there's some syntax here for, like, how you'll structure creating branches in GitHub. So initials of person 1, initials of person 2, short description. If you forget this, remember that this orientation markdown is in the repo, so you can come back here and reference it. But once you get it once, you won't have any issues. So this would be an example of that code methodology. And so you'll create branches for your feature pair. You'll push to GitHub so your feature pair can also access that branch and pull down the branch. And so you can both work on it or make edits to it or anything like that. You'll check out to the branch and then push the branch to GitHub with these commands. And we also, I still believe, have a Git module for the first week that we can give a few more details on using Git and very frequent commands that you'll see. When you believe you're ready to be merged to main, you'll create a pull request. It's a you'll tag the other team in Slack, so there'll be those threads, or you can just add the other developers by their specific names to notify that they can start review, because the other team has to review your pull request. So just to make sure that they're aware that you're not going to be waiting for them to be aware that you have a pull request, just tag them, let them know that they have a PR to review. If they have any feedback, you can add that as you're working, and then push up that code again, push up that feedback when it's ready to be merged. And then you'll finally request that one of the mentors reviews the PR. Once they get their approval, you can merge the PR into main. And once again, this always like comes up where people are a little afraid to hit that merge button, but once it's approved, hit the merge button, take ownership of that PR, take ownership of merging it into main so it can be automatically deployed to your site. And then you can check out the work on the production site. And then when does everything happen? So it's going to take about 40 hours over the 8 weeks, 5 hours a week. We think that the division should be about 2 to 3 hours pair programming between Monday and Tuesday with your partner, 1 hour for office hours on Wednesday, 1 hour maybe for code reviewing, doing any kind of cleanup of your code, factoring in any changes that need to be happening, and then weekly syncs for 1 hour on Sunday. So 5 hours. Please, 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 if you're going over the 2 to 3 hour development time or any other time, let us know. We want to be really involved in that and keeping this to 5 hours. The scope of the project is really important to us to allow everyone to participate and to make it really manageable depending on what you have going on in your life, to make this project manageable and a good experience for you. Something that's really easy to balance with your personal life, with your work, any other responsibilities that you have. So it's very important to us. Let us know if you're going over the 2 or 3 hours. And we can help potentially like move some of the pieces back. There's extra time built into the project, so don't worry about having an issue perfect if it's going to take longer than the 5 hours. Things can be moved, things can be changed. Just make sure that you're doing what's best for you. Weekly cadence. So again, this is kind of the structure of the weeks. Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, we talked about working out your issue, building the functionality with your pair partner, doing any research, maybe before you meet. I found that to work really well when I was a collabie, just to have an idea of maybe what technology you'll use, any additional functions or methods, things like that. Thursday, you'll have your PR submitted for peer review. Really would like that done on Thursday so that the other pair has time to review your code. Mentors have time to review your code on Friday, and then Saturday, we can make sure that the PR is merged to production so that it's ready for demoing on Sunday. So this should be kind of the flow of things. Again, things happen in the week, but the really important thing is to reflect on it and see how we can improve things for the future. So this is the goal. And then we have another infographic. I think Alejandro made this to kind of show you what the expectations are. Really heavy on coding Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We're submitting for review on Thursday, reviewing the other pull requests too. That takes time to pull it down and make sure that you're getting good feedback and understanding what the other code is doing, even though you didn't write it. That can take some time. So making sure you're allowing yourself time for that on Friday. Saturday, making sure everything is merged correctly and into production successfully. Weekly syncs, so our last part of the week. This is the end of the week with demos, but also the beginning of the week when we assign new issues and talk about what's upcoming. So the first part of the weekly sync will start with demos. Each team will present their piece of code. You can present the code that you've written in VS Code and also what it looks like live in production. And then keep in mind that these parts will be recorded. The weekly syncs will be recorded as an artifact for you to keep after the Collab Lab. So you can extract out what you did during the demos, maybe take out those snippets and make a video or do anything else, post it online to get visibility about what you're doing as a developer. That's really important. A lot of people really enjoy seeing what you're doing. It gives you more credibility in this era of being entry level, but not having experience to get those entry level jobs. So this can really help in those areas, just being very visible about what you're doing, which is hard, but this will give you a tool in your toolbox for that. And rotating every other week, so we'll either have a learning module or a retrospective. A learning module will be a presentation by one of the mentors that gives a topic on engineering. We do communication for devs, we do Git commands, we do accessibility, we also do pair programming. So one of those things, and it gives us time to learn some industry standards, some things that work well for developers, and talk about what works well for us so we can evaluate our processes. And then on the opposite weeks, we'll have retrospectives. This is a part of Agile to have a retro after a sprint. So our sprints here are also 1 week. It's technically a sprint. So we'll have retrospectives after that sprint, and we'll share appreciations and feedback for our team, what we thought went well, what we appreciate about our pair partners, about the other team members on our team, about any mentors or collabs, things like that, any discussions we've had. And then also if we have anything we want to improve about our processes. If we're going over time, we're spending too much time on one thing when we should focus on something else. It's a great way to kind of improve our processes and make sure we're all on the same page about how to move forward in the best way. And then the very last part of things will be planning for the upcoming week. We'll talk about the upcoming issues, talk about any blockers you might have or any information that you might need. You can ask any questions about the issues, and we'll also assign them to be worked on. So that is weekly syncs. General overview, remember, you can find all of this in the orientation markdown of this guide.
Yes, I love that. Okay, so that was a lot. We know that. So let's do a quick recap. So during your time at Collab Lab, you're going to get experience collaborating with a team of developers to build a real thing together following Agile methodology. It's really fun and exciting, and you're going to meet lots of fun friends along the way who can support you now and throughout your entire career. So welcome. We're going to spend 8 weeks working together to build the Smart Shopping List app. Again, check out that demo. It is very helpful. Collab Lab teams here we have 45 and 46 are going to consist of 4 developers and 3 mentors. Each week, the 4 developers will break up into 2 pairs of 2 to tackle 1 issue from your backlog. Again, that is found in the projects board on your GitHub repo. You're going to spend about 5 hours a week on the Collab Lab project. That's the expectation. Again, like Lindsay said, it is so important to us that you stick within this 5-hour time frame. If you feel like you're going way over, let us know. If you're way under, let us know too. We're just trying to really keep a finger on the pulse of that so we can either refine the program to align with that 5 hours or help with time management skills where we need to. So 5 hours. And that includes pair programming with your partner, working asynchronously on issue, doing pull requests, doing code reviews, and doing your weekly sync. So each weekend during the program, starting this weekend, you're going to have your weekly sync that Lindsay just told you about, where you'll demo and do retrospectives and learn together and talk about what's going to happen in the following week. So that's the recap of what the program is going to look like. What is next for you? Again, this weekend, you will kick off your Collab Lab project with your fellow collabs in your first weekly sync. In that sync, one of your mentors will present a learning module on Git to get you started with what you're going to need for the Collab Lab and make sure you have the project pulled down and you're comfortable with that piece of the puzzle. And then after that weekly sync, you'll start scheduling your pair programming sessions with the partner that you were assigned for the week and start tackling that issue. If you haven't already, go to your team's repo, pull down the code, clone it locally, and make sure you add your name to the code owner's markdown file. The reason we do this is just to make sure that you have the repo pulled down and that you can successfully push to it and pull from it so that come this weekend, you're ready to start collaborating. Okay, one other thing that I still have yet to add to this orientation file, which I absolutely need to do, is Career Lab, Shelley's Career Lab. It's one of my absolute favorite parts of the Collab Lab, but it is a 2-week optional, completely optional extension on the end of your Collab Lab experience, which anybody who's been through Career Lab will tell you you should mandatorily do it because it's amazing and it's very helpful. But in this 2-week extension, you get a chance to work with professional career folks, people who work in recruiting or engineering or are hiring managers at different companies to refine your LinkedIn and do mock technical interviews and mock job fit interviews and learn how to tell your story and do a lot of that stuff that's going to help you take the experience you're getting at Collab Lab and put it into words so that you can use it as an experience when you go to interview. So we'll post more information about that nearer the middle to end of your 8-week program. And if you decide you want to stay on with us for those 2 weeks to refine your career hunt stuff, please do. It's really fun and exciting. Okay, phew, let's do it. Any questions, comments, concerns, thoughts? Cats, dogs, kids, anything. It's okay if not. There's a lot of new stuff. There's one thing that Andrew, founder of Collab Lab, always says. He's not here because he's on this mega road trip right now. But he always likes to say, doing Collab Lab is kind of like learning a new board game. When you start out, like you have the rules in front of you and it kind of makes sense, but it's not till you start actually doing that things will sort of start feeling natural and falling into place. So if you feel nervous or like you're not quite sure what to do, or there's just so many moving pieces, that's okay. That's to be expected. But I promise you, once you get in and do a week or so, it's all going to start making a lot more sense and you'll feel a lot more comfortable and confident moving forward. But essentially, we're here to work together, build things together, and have fun. Shelley, what's up? You're muted. You're still muted.
You're muted.
It seems
Still
very
muted. But there was lots of hands. I told you that's how I communicate. I just want to add that graphic that showed, the 7 days of the week. Oh, there it is. That is so pretty. That's new, I think. Don't stress out if you think it looks like you have to put in time every single day of the week. The 5 hours is really, truly the amount we want you to cap at. And so it's just sort of where you're going to put your hours. So front loading the week with doing your pair programming so that each of the next steps can come up. It doesn't mean that you have to work all day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday by any stretch. And the other thing, I don't know if you guys were looking at the chat, but we've done a lot of, we love pair programming. I, for one, thought that it would be impractical, useful to talk to someone, but I didn't see how it would work time-wise. You will program so much faster when you're talking out loud with someone else. So it's super efficient. But also, since it's 2 of you, I want to encourage you to not let yourself go into that hole of spending 2, 3, 4 hours on one weird thing you can't figure out. So, and Lindsay and I experienced this. We were on the same team, TCL 36 forever, where it's just like, hey, we've been doing this for 30 minutes and we're getting frustrated. We need to stop. And so we would make each other stop. We'd reach out, we'd show up to office hours, we'd get it figured out and move on from there. So really, truly don't feel like you have to spend hours and hours and hours and hours if you get stuck. Cut yourselves off and you'll be fine. Did we ever spend 5 hours? Maybe towards the end, because then you get really invested. You want to make it all perfect. But you can do it in 5 hours or less a week for sure.
Yeah, exactly that. If you feel, I think Lindsay said 15 minutes somewhere when she was presenting, but it's like, if you feel like you're spinning your wheels for 15 minutes, just stop right there, go ask for help. It's not just something you'll do at Collab Lab, like maybe you'd give it more than 15 minutes when you're in your engineering roles, but asking for help is really the superpower to becoming an amazing engineer, because you're not going to know everything on your own. And why spin your wheels for hours when you could ask somebody who just has the answer at their fingertips and knows it right off the top of their head? So just ask when you get stuck. Okay, we had a question about office hours because we totally didn't talk about it at all. So thank you for bringing that up. Office hours are, again, an optional thing that happen once a week. Your mentors will take turns rotating and doing office hours. Those can look so many different ways depending on what comes up for the week. It's your opportunity to come ask for help if you need it. But if you don't need help and you just want to show up and talk, that's cool too. A lot of times they'll turn into either like kind of mini lessons from your mentor on technical things, or you can ask them about their job or their interview experiences, or, you know, just what they're passionate about. So it can literally be whatever, but it's just an opportunity for you to have some sync time with your mentors if you want it and if you need it.
Highly recommend. I remember being really anxious to go to office hours and shy because I'm a shy person, but they were really helpful. My mentors were always so warm and nice, and were able to talk about their role and just being able to see their path, see their way into tech. It gave me a lot more confidence about my own path and my own way into tech. And 2 jobs later, here I am. So yeah, I'm also a mentor. I'm a pretty open book. If you want to ask about my career, how I got the salary I got, if I negotiated, things like that, definitely open. So yeah, just come ask. And we're here.
I love that. Perfect. And yes, Nick's right. Even senior level folks ask for help all the time. I liked when I was working in engineering, because I've gone into management now, but you know how there's that idea of the 10 times engineer, the 10x engineer. I was always like, I am a 10x engineer because I have 10 other engineers behind me giving me the answers to things. Like that was my superpower, just asking questions all the time. Because it's like, you know, somebody like EJ, for example, just knows the answer right off the top of their head. So I'm like, I'm just going to learn it from EJ right here, rather than, you know, just like grinding through reading documentation and trying to make it work. It's like people have the answers and people want to help. So ask, ask, ask. Other comments, questions, concerns?
I have a question about pair programming. You earlier in the presentation mentioned like just find a way of pair programming that works well for you. Could you describe what some of those might look like?
Absolutely. So pretty commonly what you'll see is there will be a driver and a navigator in pair programming. So say you and I, Michelle, are pair programming. We would get together, we'll read the issue that we're going over. Maybe we'll, you know, like leave a note on the issue, like some brainstorming about how we think we're going to approach it, and just talk it out together. And then one person will usually share their screen on Zoom. And then you'll work through it together. So you're like, all right, I'm going to be the driver, so I'll type the code, but Michelle, you're going to walk me through what I need to do. You're going to talk me through it. And then after 15, 20 minutes of doing that, we'll switch and you'll pull the code down onto your computer and share your screen. And we'll do the same thing where you'll be doing the keyboard now coding, and I'll be walking through, okay, let's try and add a use state hook here. And let's send these props over here, and just kind of talking through it together. Really leaning heavily on Git to push and pull the code so that you each have it, because you'll be working on the same branch together. Chels shared her personal preference over here. Do you want to talk through that, Chels?
Yeah, I love so if you're a VS Code fan, which I am, because when I first started learning to code, I just like couldn't figure anything else out. So, and now I'm a VS Code fan, but I like live share. The difference between live share and what Stacy described is with live share, you're basically, regardless of whether I'm driving or not, like you can type on my screen. So like, we don't have to worry about the Git pull thing. I know that can be sometimes a little bit overwhelming. I used to be a person who would get really flustered and like forget where everything was. And so when I went through a similar program, my colleague Daniel would be like, let's just do VS Code. And he would start typing and then I'd start typing, and it kind of just made it a little bit less pressure because like I said, I tend to get nervous and type and make mistakes. So I thought that was a nice hands-on way to like take off the pressure a little bit. So that was my favorite.
Yeah, I love that. Does that help, Michelle?
Yeah, totally. Thanks so much.
Cool.
I didn't know that this live share existed. That's awesome to see.
Yeah, it's really great. So just to kind of like go over this all again, you'll have your weekly sync this weekend. You'll see who you're paired up with for next week. And then again, say it's me and Michelle in Slack, and do this like in the public thread so that your mentors can all be in tune with what your plans are and stuff. But me and Michelle would be like, hey, do you want to pair up on Monday night at 6? We'd be like, yeah, I'd send a Zoom link or however you and your partner want to coordinate. And then we'd get on and start working through the issue together. That's what that'll look like. And every week you'll have a different partner, but since there's 4 of you, you'll cycle through them. as we can.
I see Nadia had a question about how did you come to the idea of the smart shopping cart as a project for Collabs? Do you know,
That's a
Susie? I know
good
like
question.
why.
Yeah, so Andrew had created this smart shopping list for himself. And so just when we spun up the project, we thought, okay, here's an app, we can break this down. There's also an advanced project that will run from time to time. That's another app that Andrew had built that got broken down. So it's a really robust app with a lot of different functionality in it. So you're gonna learn a lot. So it's a really good, well-rounded one. But there's, other than that, it's just an app that had been built that we felt confident bringing down, really.
The shopping list also is really cool. EJ was actually going over Vue with me this weekend for my new role. And we were talking about like doing a list app as a CRUD app, like doing all of the create, read, update, destroy operations. And so this list is also really good for that, just to show that you understand that functionality, which will definitely come up.
Yeah, a lot of the things in this app are things that you'll experience having to build if you work on the front end in an engineering role. Like there's lots of little bits and pieces that you're like, oh, I did this at Collab Lab. Like a lot of the basics.
Thank you.
Sure. Other questions? Good. Okay, if not, totally fine. You will have questions eventually. That is totally expected. So when you do, post them either in your team channel or in the cohort channel publicly, because chances are somebody else has the same question that you have, and we can all learn and grow together if we're really loud about this kind of stuff in a public way. So try and post there so we can all learn. And with that, that's orientation. If you don't know when your weekly sync is, be sure to post in your team channel. Go to your weekly sync, get your name in the code owners file so that you know that you can pull and push, and we'll get started this weekend. If that's it, we will say bye. Goodbyes are always really hard. You hang up first. Bye. All right, see you all this weekend. Have a really good one. Can't wait to see what you build. Bye, friends.
Thank you.
Bye.
See ya.
Thank